Hey there, Dungeon Delvers, and welcome to another episode of Boss Battle. This week, we hunt down and kill the Grick. The Grick is a horrifying creature from classic Dungeons & Dragons. It's about 8 foot long, though it could be longer. It is a worm-like creature without any legs, and where its head should be is instead a beak surrounded by 4 or more tentacles. The Grick can be encountered in caves or in ancient cities or old castles underneath a bridge, in a miner's quarry, or anything like that, where anywhere there'd be plentiful food and a lot of stone for the creature to hide within. The first step to making this the best boss battle ever is to decide, why are we hunting a Grick? What is happening that has made us decide that this thing has to go down? We want to make sure the players are not just encountering the creature at random, but instead specifically trying to find the creature that is causing a problem. You can decide what the problem should be, but a great example would be perhaps maybe in a city that has sewers. All of a sudden all the rats have gone missing from the city, and then soon small pets started to vanish, and then larger pets, and now a child has gone missing, and the party's job is to find out what is happening. All right, let's get to our encounter. Phase 1, we gotta find the damn thing. Gricks are known for being extremely stealthy, especially in dark areas with a lot of stone that they can use to camouflage themselves, giving them some advantage in their stealth checks. Let the party take turns seeking out the creature in different holes or shadowy areas behind stones, along the walls, in the ceiling, or wherever else they can think to look. Whichever party member is able to beat the Grick's hide check first is the one that finds it. But they are not the lucky one, they are the unlucky one, as the Grick is an ambush predator. Assume that the Grick has an action ready to go for whenever somebody finally finds it, and it is going to immediately leap out and try to grab onto it with its tentacles and bite onto it with its beak. Make one attack roll to see if both of them hit. As soon as somebody finds it, it's going to leap out from the shadows or from its den or its hole or wherever it was. It's going to grab onto this person with its tentacles and start to dig into it with its beak. If the Grick misses this all-important attack, it will immediately skitter away on its next turn and try to find another place to hide. This will give the party a chance to do a little bit of damage before phase 1 has to start over, where they're again searching for the Grick. Once that Grick is allowed to follow its instincts and ambush one of its seekers, it's going to latch onto it and we can get right into phase 2. Assuming the player hasn't done some sort of a check on their own turn to get the Grick off of them, the Grick is going to start off assuming that it's grappling the player. At this point, the Grick isn't going to attack immediately. It's first going to start to wiggle backwards like an eel trying to get back into its den with its food in its mouth. It's going to try to find a small space like you might see a spelunker go through, too small to be able to fight from, but just big enough where a person's body could fit inside. Maybe it's dragging them by the person's head or their chest, and their arms are getting locked down to their side as they go into this hole, or maybe it's dragging them by their legs and their arms are stuck up above their heads as they're pulled in, and they're not able to pull their elbows down because of how tight the space is. Now that this person is stuck in this spot being bitten by the Grick every single turn, it'll be up to the rest of the party to grab onto him and pull him out of the hole before he's lost forever. Now again, this is all assuming that the player did not get the Grick off of them before it was the Grick's next turn in order to move. So if the player does get the Grick off of them, this is where the Grick will stand and fight, trying to latch onto somebody and start again wiggling backwards into their hole. Now this person is probably taking a lot of damage unless they were able to pass that strength check really fast to be able to pull that person free of the Grick's grasp. But if it's doing this at lower level, a lot of damage can be a big deal. Even one round of damage from tentacle and bite can really start to mess somebody up. So when they do get this person back out of the hole, they're able to pull him free. Maybe he's lost some gear as he's getting torn out from this small space. We go into phase 3. Now again, we started this with the assumption that the players are hunting down the Grick. So they could run at this point and say, oh man, we got hurt bad. We got to go back, heal up, reset, and try to find this thing again. Or they know what hole the Grick is in. They have to commit to finding it and getting it out of there. Either somebody's going to have to crawl in, or they're going to have to use some other tactics to be able to pull the Grick out of that den. Whether the players find a way to pull the thing out or they physically crawl their way in to the Grick's den, this is where it'll make its final stand in a small, dark space. I would say all attacks for anyone besides the Grick would be at disadvantage as we're struggling through this. On top of that, the Grick is resistant to damage. It usually has a stony outer shell, so it's going to be very difficult for the party to wear this thing down. As a dungeon master, if you're dealing with a lower level party or a weaker party, you may want to have the Grick's attacks vary as it bites onto different people over and over again. If they're pretty strong though, you can have this thing just lamp onto one person and continue to devastate that one target. All right, Quick recap. Phase 1, we got to find the damn thing. A bunch of perception checks or investigation checks or nature checks to figure out where this thing is hiding. And once somebody beats that thing's stealth check, boom, instantly attacked as a reaction from the Grick. Then we go on to phase 2. Once he's grabbed onto, it starts to wiggle its way back into its hole, and now the party has to not think about hurting the Grick, but grabbing onto that party member and pulling him out before he gets yanked all the way down into the darkness. And finally, phase 3. Either get that thing out of the hole or go in there and get it. Once your party works its way through, they're gonna have to fight the Grick one at a time, as it's gonna be very difficult to crawl through that small space. Unless they are able to find a way to fish it out of there, then they can all attack it at once. If this felt like too easy of a battle for your party to get through, then you just have to hint that somewhere in that den the Grick had some eggs, and now we can do a few more Gricks. If they had struggled with it, let them be triumphant at the end, having gone through these 3 phases and defeated the awful, deadly Grick, and maybe even save the town or the mines or wherever they were. All right, team, thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm DM Lark. I appreciate your subscription. I appreciate a like, and comment down below if you have an idea for what monster should be next, or if you would have run these 3 phases in a different way. Be sure to comment below, and I will play you later.